That was the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna start the show.
Okay, yeah, sure.
We're gonna sometimes I've been playing MLB. I've been playing the show a lot, and I found out even when you're a pretty good pitcher, sometimes the top of the order just gets you, man. They eat you up, but you got to bounce back. There's still 9 innings left to play, so we're gonna roll with it. Made a mistake. It happens to the best of us. But we're gonna cruise on through. You got a little rendition of Rocky Top. Shout out to Dylan Cole. We were talking about Dylan tonight. Great dude. He made that graphic. He's a dude. He's a dude amongst
Dude
boys.
amongst dudes.
See, I feel like he's just better than it. Like he's a dude, but he's almost better than a dude. But no, this it's gonna be a good weekend. You had a nice little Vol win on Tuesday night. Get the juices flowing for a top 25 matchup in Lindsey Nelson. You weren't there. I mean, I don't know if maybe you talked to your dad. It obviously that crowd dispersed a little bit towards the end of the game, but man, that crowd seemed vicious at the start for a Tuesday night game, especially.
Yeah, it's been nuts, these midweek games. And I don't know if it's just like it never really got to that point last year where
Right.
the midweek games were just insane because, kind of when they opened up everything, you're toward the end of SEC play, and then you had the regionals and stuff. So
Right.
I don't know if it got to that point, but man, it's there was one, I forget what game it was, but it was finally like nice weather. And
Oh,
dude,
that's what
like
helped Tuesday night. It was
they
beautiful.
sold, I mean, they had to sell like 1,000 standing room only tickets.
Yeah, that helps it too. Good weather. Tennessee hadn't been super blessed in the front part of the schedule. Even that Missouri game, 1st of April, I think, was it was a little nippy. So yeah, that helps it. No one wants to watch baseball in the cold. So it's good to get this nice weather in. I think it's supposed to be nice weather pretty much the rest of the weekend. I know can rain Friday, but not a big percentage. I don't know if that's changed, but yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend for that. You've got the NFL draft tonight. Is that start at 8?
Yeah, it starts at 8. Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, they probably won't do the first pick
Yeah,
until
it's gonna be
9,
15
but
minutes.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know why. Like, I'm not trying to sound like it kind of comes across as arrogant. I just haven't paid attention to the NFL. Like, I just don't care for some reason, and it kind of stinks because more Tennessee players are in the NFL now than like 5 years ago, 2 years ago when I cared more about the NFL.
Yeah. I care more about the draft than I do the NFL. And I don't know if that's just my like I just love college football and it's just they kind of clash.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
but I've always just been a huge draft.
See,
Like
see
that's
it.
bucket list. I want to go to a draft one day.
I would have loved. I don't know if I'd want to go to a draft, and I'm gonna shout out another great dude. See, I used to care a lot more about the draft even like before Josh Bennett, you remember him?
Yeah.
He loved the NFL, loved the NFL draft. So he definitely kept me more informed. And I cared more like then. Now I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's because how many teams draft? Like I don't ever remember coming out of draft and be like they drafted well. And obviously that doesn't change. That can change in the season. But like the first 4 picks, I feel like they all and then the teams always suck. So either the first 4 picks, but it's like I don't know. It just seems like they don't make good roster moves, good decisions. So I just don't care. I'm sorry, I don't. And you're going to see a bunch of defensive ends taking top 5 tonight. And not that defensive ends can't change the game, but those teams need more. I don't know. I'm not
Well,
a
the teams
drafting.
that are
I'm an
drafting
expert.
those first 5, and I'm going to say 5 because the Panthers have the 6th pick. They need a ton, and so
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not fixed with just one pick. But
But I feel
I
like they
get what
make
you're saying. The first night of draft, that's the one people watch. After that, it's
yeah,
just like, hey, you're just looking for somebody on Tennessee to get drafted because you have
no, for
no clue
sure.
who these who these people are.
For sure. And I don't know. You're right. They're always bad. I think they just make really bad roster moves. So their draft picks never look great too. All combine that with just terrible organizations. It just is what it is. But yeah, I don't get super pumped for the NFL. Hey, at least the Browns aren't at the top anymore. I meant to wear my Baker Mayfield jersey. Should I put it on, even though he probably won't be at the Browns next year? I'm gonna need you to.
He might get traded tonight.
Yeah, I might need you to hit up DH Gate again and get me a Seahawks jersey.
Okay.
Is I know the Seahawks were hinting maybe at a trade the other day. Or is that what we're thinking? Or has that changed?
Um, who knows?
All right. I wouldn't mind him at Seattle. I hate Pete Carroll though. I can't stand looking at him. It might be the USC. Like I can't ever look past his USC flaws. But yeah, we'll talk a little draft day for sure. Even though I think we did enough draft talk, that's all we need. Um, we're talking about some recruiting, of course. What about those videos Tennessee dropped today? Those are pretty
A
sweet.
draft.
Or
Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of mixing the two.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
that takes a lot of time. First of all, you have to get who their favorite team is. So,
Also, I mean, I don't know. I guess you have Carolina. I mean, and I guess it depends on where you grow up to. Like in the South, you may or may not have a favorite NFL team, depending on your what city you're in and things like that. But I don't know. It just feels like, and with fantasy football, I feel like it's weird. It's weird to find a young person who's a diehard now.
well, it used to be a lot different. Like you used to have guys that were staying on their team for
That's true.
16 years, but
That's
now
true.
like it's the same with MLB. It's the same with it's just professional sports. They're not staying
Right.
in one place anymore.
That's true. It makes it harder to find because you find a guy and then attach yourself to a team. That's true.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so which is free agency worse for college football or NFL?
I don't know.
And we're going to talk about the transfer portal, and we'll dive into like actual transfer portal news. But before we even get onto the show, I do want to ask, like the people do realize because they're like all these people, they're leaving and finding out they don't have a spot to go. Well, they're going to learn that, and I know people were predicting it, but it isn't a problem we've had before, and I agreed with everyone predicting it. So I'm not. I get what you're saying. I just think it's going to take the student athletes time to figure it out. They're not going to just take your word for it.
Right.
And I think a lot of guys are I think a lot of guys look at some I don't think some people understand the transfer portal is really really good for the guys who really just want out of their situation. They're not necessarily like actively know where they're going to go. They're ready to leave. And that's
Mm.
what I think is and they may not find a spot, but I'm sure those guys are kind of okay with that. They just need to get it's a fresh I think it's definitely got plenty of cons. I'm not saying it's all pros, but I think there's a lot of pros to it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if it'll ever die down because of that. Just because, like, I think kids are addicted to the recruiting process and the
Oh yeah.
love, and they want a chance to. They see Tennessee. They said this kid hasn't played down in college football. He's making $8 million. We've seen that thrown out there with Nico. I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, cool. If it's not, oh
Yeah,
well,
whatever.
we still got
I
him
don't care.
anyway.
Exactly.
Um, but I think there is that sense of, hey, I want to see what else is out there. I don't
Yeah.
hate my situation. Maybe I could play a little bit more. Maybe I can make a little bit more money. But
Right.
I think that kids are just addicted to that, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. I think the transfer portal is going to be full all the time,
I think it'll
especially
be
when coaches leave. There's that uncertainty. You know, looming around, so that they're just wanting to see what else is out there. So even Tyler Barron, I don't know why he
did he even
ended up in the
spend
portal.
a full work day in there? I mean,
I don't know. He was just in that drunk tank of the transfer portal and then came back
exactly. Yeah,
out.
exactly. No, I think it'll be full. I don't ever think there'll be a shortage of transfers. I don't think it'll ever be over full like it is now. Like in 5 years. I think it'll take a few years to figure it out. 5 years, I don't think it'll be over full after that. Like you said, you still have the guys coaches leave. Like you still have all these exceptions that are definitely going to happen. But some of the guys that you probably don't get guys that aren't sure if they're leaving Tennessee and go to the transfer portal. Like you
Yeah.
probably don't have that anymore. For every other school, I'm not just talking about Tennessee. So yeah, we'll see. It's
I,
and
I think those middle tier teams, like a Minnesota, like
yeah,
they're okay in the Big Ten. They're never going to be great, but any like really good player in the Big Ten, like how long is he actually going to stay in Minnesota? Guys that just get kind of looked over, like Isaiah Nayer.
yeah,
That guy, he ain't. Those people aren't staying at Wyoming for 4 years.
yeah. But I think that could be a very good selling. Like I think that could be a recruiting tool. Wyoming. You're better than it, and you could say like, listen, we know who we are. we're going to compete for conference championships. We're going to, if you come, oh, you don't have a Power 5 offer? Come here and get a Power 5 offer. Like, we can do that for you. We can. So, I mean, it's almost becoming a minor league situation
Yeah.
that college
I mean,
football already is. It is a farm league pretty much for the NFL. And it really becomes that when you're like, oh, you can go play double A ball for, 2 years and you're going to get picked up by Texas. You're going to make a lot more money. You're going to make money and you're going to play in a better league. And then that's going to help you get NFL, like more NFL looks. NFL, here's the thing. And I really like, I think they miss, and the NFL misses, just like baseball misses. Yeah. Just like the NBA misses. But it's people's job. Like, it is people's life work to go out and find dude. Like, they're going to find you no matter where you're at. So I like Isaiah Nayer, if he's at Wyoming, he still goes to the NFL and is probably very successful as it's predicted right now. But it is obviously a lot better for a lot of reasons, for personal, like, again, good recruiting pitch for Tennessee. If guys at the transfer portal, obviously you can't talk to them before that, but this is where you get more eyes on you and you sell more than just your football. You sell your brand.
mm-hmm.
So I think, I think it all works itself out. Wyoming was never going to compete for a championship anyways.
No.
So
but they weren't going to pay him, triple digits in NIL money either.
Right.
So, yeah, I like what you said. I mean, treat it like a JUCO. Yeah, that could be a selling point. That's a good take.
Well, and you're going, and I think that you're selling the developmental side of it. Like, we're going to get you better. And you may not even sell like that. You could, because maybe that's an embarrassing way to sell your school if you have 4 years of eligibility there. But it's like, you could get better in 2 years and get noticed. And you can just be like, and then the NFL picks up on you in your third year. And you're kind of hinting at it like, hey, if you want to play at a bigger school and you don't have that offer now, we can help you get that offer.
Yeah.
Like, we understand. And I think that, and then again, that's why we need a separate championship for Wyoming. Because does Isaiah Nayer stay there? Maybe not, because money's involved. But does Isaiah Nayer stay there if he has a chance to win a national championship, even if it's Division I FCS? Or not, same kind of deal. Like, it's Division I FBS, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's a different one than the Power 5. So, I mean, it's the NCAA, I think, could do a lot for schools like Wyoming. I think they could.
Yeah.
But,
well, and you also look at the transfer portal. A con is it isn't always better.
That's elsewhere. Not. No.
I mean, look at the Tennessee who they lost in the transfer portal, like guys who contributed and went elsewhere.
Right.
Who had a good year? Henry To'oTo'o, Quavaris Crouch. Eric Gray didn't do hardly anything. Wanye didn't do anything. Jameer Johnson didn't do anything. DeAndre Johnson. Who's the guy that went to Arkansas State? His dad played at Alabama. Can't think of his name. He's a defensive end. Can't remember. Anyway, he had an okay year at Arkansas State.
Right.
He's a starter at Tennessee. He played in the SEC.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not
a sign for Tennessee. But right. I know, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And even then, like, guys like Henry To'oTo'o, who was one of the best linebackers in the SEC at Tennessee, he goes there and he's a starter at Alabama and plays for a national championship. I hate him because he's Alabama. He's obviously a good football player. Hate him because he's at Alabama. But, I mean, he wasn't a standout linebacker for that Alabama team. And I think that, that could be a con there. Like, do you want to be the guy or be one of the guys? And I agree with being one of the guys if I have a chance to win a national championship. So I get that. I don't I'd never go to Alabama to try and win one. But I understand that thinking. But is that more like ring chasing for a ring that doesn't pay? Because that might be a bad business decision.
Well, and if he was that dominant, he would have he would be in the NFL draft this year.
Like, that's the thing. I don't disagree. Nick Saban gets dudes NFL ready, but you cannot convince me Henry To'oTo'o shouldn't have been NFL ready. Like, you just can't tell me his trajectory. He wasn't leaving Tennessee after last year if he had stayed.
No,
just based on his trajectory. So yeah, I think there's cause to that when you're not the standout guy. Maybe again the scouts will find you, but it could hurt your chances when you're not that guy. So. Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I mean, bad business decision. The fact that you didn't win a ring and you aren't going to win one this year.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and we could sit here and talk about it all day because
it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, and you look at Wyoming, yeah, they lose Isaiah Nayor, but take Harrison Bailey for instance. He's a Tennessee quarterback. He was never going to really get a chance to play at Tennessee, um, and goes to UNLV, a school very similar to a Wyoming.
Right.
I mean, you get some of those guys that you wouldn't get out of high school. I mean, some kids just, for whatever reason, it just doesn't
Which isn't that
pan
great for
out.
Harrison Bailey?
Yeah, yeah,
You get
absolutely.
it. You get a good chance. You gave it your best shot at Tennessee from everything we can tell, and then don't like you leaving mid-season. But I mean, I get it to an extent. But yeah, get a chance to go start at UNLV and maybe make some noise because you weren't going to be able to make noise, unfortunately, on this team. Like it's just how it is.
Running Rebels.
I'll also like to talking about NIL. I know we've discussed it while discussing transfer portal. Did you watch Busting with the Boys with Josh Heupel?
No, I didn't.
I liked what he said about what NIL does to teach kids about their brand. I mentioned the brand earlier, building your brand. It almost makes them recognize that they do have a brand now because they're getting paid for it. Like you do see that recognition, and you have to be responsible for that. Like he said he hadn't dealt with any issues. That's not true. Now NIL wasn't around when he had to deal with them, so maybe he meant that. But NIL, he says, he's had to deal with way less discipline issues because guys understand their brand. So that's another thing I think. And I don't know how you can argue paying the players is bad. I'm sorry. I think that's just a terrible take. I think especially when the NCAA and the institutions aren't paying them. It's an
Mhm.
even worse take because then we can discuss that. Like we can discuss paying what, but we got to talk about cutting coaches' salaries too. I mean, we got to talk about a lot more. We can't just say don't pay the players because it's impossible. So yeah, whatever. I think it's great. Transfer portal obviously makes that more interesting when you have NIL on top of it. But that's my. You got
The good
anything
thing
to?
is, I feel like Tennessee can benefit from that.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps schools like Tennessee, which I think it's funny to be in a role like Tennessee, Nebraska, maybe Oregon, USC. Um, I mean, probably Florida State is a great example too, where you've been down for so many years and you feel like I feel like we're in a spot at Tennessee before NIL where I'm like, we cannot dig out of this hole. Like, sure, we may win 9 games again, maybe win 10, but we're so far behind Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky is playing with us, sometimes recruiting with us, more often than not with Mark Stoops and the idiots we had recruiting with us. You've got South Carolina that will give you games and beat you every now and then. It's like I just feel like we're never digging out of this hole. And the Alabamas and Georgias, the schools that have been good, Oklahoma that have been playing for national championships, are like all it does is make the good ones better. I'm like, I don't disagree that it makes Alabama and Georgia better. Don't disagree with that at all. But it's also going to make the schools that have been bad that have money a lot better too. And I'm one of those schools. So I don't care if MTSU is never great. I don't care if Vanderbilt's never great. I don't care
That would actually
if
be hilarious.
if Missouri's not great. Like that doesn't bother me. I want to be great. Alabama, sure they probably got richer, but we have the same amount of money and resources, and now that money is actually involved, like really involved, it's not just bagmen. I'm in. Like sign me up.
Yeah, I mean,
Sign me up.
you definitely. I mean, we're going to talk about recruiting in here in a. You would just want to get. Let's go. Let's go
Let's
to
jump into
draft.
it.
Let's go to draft. Then we'll go to recruiting.
Okay, we can, that's fine. I don't even know what I don't know what you had in mind wanting to talk about it.
Well, I
Yeah,
just want to mention the Tennessee players that could hear their name on draft day.
okay, yeah,
Um, so there's 8 guys that are draft eligible. You'll probably hear 4 of those guys get their name called in this draft. Um, don't see any tonight. Maybe tomorrow or the next day that you'll hear some
right.
guys get their name called. But those guys are Matthew Butler, Velus Jones, Cade Mays, Alante Taylor, Theo Jackson, Javante Payton, Kenneth George Jr., and Jaquan Blakely. Um, Matthew Butler, we'll start with him. Could be the first guy off the board. Um, that's
Which
a
that's
volunteer.
I don't know if that's shocking. It's just weird. I think that he could be number like I don't know if shocking's the right word, but definitely
Yeah,
like I don't know if I would have picked him. I guess is the best way to say that to be
found it
first off the board for Tennessee.
somehow, some way. He found it.
Yeah,
But yeah, well, I've seen projection of him in the third, up to the third round, all the way back to the sixth. So Kind of a wide range in there. I think I've seen more of like fourth or fifth round. Um, so we'll kind of see where he falls. But yeah, I had a really good pro day. Had a really good combine and showed out well in the All Star game. So um, yeah, I think he's like it's an added bonus that he's a great locker room guy. The fact that he stuck it
Right.
out through all this shows a lot about his character.
Yeah.
And I think he probably thinks he made the right decision because he got a whole season with Rodney Garner,
Right.
something a lot of guys in the NFL don't get. So yeah, hopefully we hear his name called. And next guy I got Velus Jones,
See,
speed
that's
kills.
probably who I probably would have picked first. That just speed's factor. That's it.
Yeah, and he has special teams abilities, so that
True.
that helps a ton too, making an
Attractive.
NFL roster. I've seen him fourth, fifth, sixth round as well, and yeah, that returner. I mean, that's where he's gonna maybe find a niche so early.
Yeah, I
Is
think
is
that's what helps him.
probably
That's what helps him find a team. Like that's how he gets on a roster is
mhm,
special teams.
yep. And then he kind of
Sure.
finds his way elsewhere as a receiver. But yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to make that what is it, 60-man roster?
Yeah. I mean, it's 53 is the you know
The cut
the
53.
it's what you're taking a game day. But I mean, if he can find a practice squad, that's a guy that's probably plays on some Sundays next year if he just
Yeah,
makes a practice squad. So,
for sure.
and I think I see him, and I know it's the returner thing. I see him like a Cordell Patterson. He can play receiver, and Cordell I think's always been impressive wherever he goes at receiver. But he's not flashy. He's not. I know his
Yeah, he's
speed
a running
can
back
be
now.
attractive, but well, that's true. Um, but I mean, his return abilities keep him in the NFL.
Yeah,
And if Valus is better than Cordero, he might find a team for a long time. But probably see him floating around where it's just, I mean, with all the new rule changes, special teams can only be so valuable now. Most of the kickoffs are going into the end zone, so you're not dying to keep a return man on your roster.
yeah, that's true. You gotta have one guy though, and
Oh, I
punts. He
mean,
can do
for sure.
punts too. Like
You do get you
that's
do
the
get
thing. Like
punts.
he's not like Evan
Who's
Berry.
who's a great punt returner in the NFL though? Because I mean, you have a ton of great kick returners. I feel like punt returning again with how good punters have become. I feel like it's
Yeah,
not as valuable as it used to be.
yeah, it's definitely difficult. I'm trying to think of somebody who like. I mean, when you think of returners, you think of like kickoffs. You think of Patterson. You think of Josh Cribbs is one. Devin Hester.
Devin Hester's
Um,
the first returner I come to mind, and I'm trying to think of punt returns. I know there's some out there, but like you said, you think of them as kick returners.
yeah,
So I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I mean,
No
Ryan
clue.
Switzer is a pretty good one. I mean, anybody that that's just not going to fumble the ball, I
North
guess, is what you're
Carolina.
looking
Shut
for.
shut the Ryan Switzer. You Cowboys fan? Is he still at the Cowboys?
Is he with the Cowboys?
He used to be, right? Am I thinking
And
of
then he
someone else?
was he was with the Steelers, some and the
I've had some
Jets.
I've had some fog since Asheville, dude. I think that's what's caused this Mandela effect with Elon Musk.
Mm, there you go.
Is that how you say it? That's how everyone's saying it. I'm just not convinced. That's it.
Elon.
Yeah.
How else did you say it?
I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't seem right to me.
Elon
It's weird.
Musk.
It's the weirdest thing. Like that doesn't sound like the name I've ever called him, but it is. It's just very strange.
Are you
I have
okay?
no idea. No, dude. That waking, I got maybe 4 hours of sleep, and it wasn't good sleep. Friday night, and that's your fault. Um,
Oh, whoa, whoa.
dude? I would have been
There's
asleep
no way
half my life.
you were passed out like that and got good sleep. There's no way.
That's what I'm saying. I
I
didn't get any
woke
good
you up
sleep
and made you like you went to bed after that.
at 4 a.m. Landon.
Yeah, we had a great time.
No, I got 3 hours because I woke up and played golf. I got up at Kellen. Shout out to Kellen. He could have. I would have if I was him, dude. He's not as spiteful as me, so I appreciate it. after what I did to him, I would have left my. I would have like, he's not playing golf with us.
Oh my god,
I would have left him there. So shout out to him. Good dude. Keep me around.
that's gross.
So yeah, I've had some weird fog. So I'm not
Not all
thinking.
there. I got
So
you.
maybe Ryan Switzer never played for the Cowboys. I have no idea.
You might have.
I'm gonna look it up now.
I think he did.
I think
Yeah, he
that's
was
when he
number
got
10.
drafted
He
by.
was number 10.
He's at the Cleveland Browns now. I think he's at the. I think he got drafted by the Cowboys.
Hmm.
Maybe by Pittsburgh. He's played on so many teams. How old is he?
It's been
Yeah,
a
he got
minute.
drafted by the Cowboys, or that was his first year. Then the Raiders, then Pittsburgh. He's played at a team every year, different team every year.
Hmm.
No. He was at Pittsburgh for 2 years, but only a year and a half.
Gotcha. Cade Mays, another guy that,
Yeah.
2 years ago I was thinking, oh, this guy's a first or second rounder. Now you're seeing him 5th or 6th round being projected.
Yeah. Which how much does chronic injuries have to do with that?
I don't know, but I just thought like the versatility would help him so much.
Yeah, and maybe there's a team like the Mike Farrell acted like Trey Smith wasn't a good player, which is ridiculous. Combined with his injuries or his condition, whatever you want to call it. That was like he is a great offensive lineman. The condition definitely held him back, I'm sure. So maybe you see a team take Cade Mays. If injuries is just it, I don't know if it's more. I feel like you said, I don't know. I feel like he's more valuable than what his draft spot says he would be.
Yeah, I mean he probably is more. He's a better guard than he is tackle.
Right.
And
but you got to know how to. I mean, NFL, you'll hear if you hear any lineman in an interview, like especially when you're a young guy and you're not just because he's not just dominant at guard. Being versatile and knowing how to play all positions helps you so much.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, maybe somebody does take a chance on him a little earlier just because of his versatility, but he should still hear his name called sometime,
Right.
and that's kind of all that matters. If you're not in the first round, maybe even second round, after that it's just like I just want to hear my name called at that point.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, Juwan Jennings is perfectly fine being a 6th round pick, or was it 7th round pick?
I think he was 6th.
Okay.
Was there another receiver that went that year?
Again, it doesn't matter. Like he's perfect.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's perfectly fine.
He might have liked that signing bonus, but he doesn't care.
Yeah, he's making plenty of money now.
He's just playing ball.
Alontae Taylor. This is the guy I would have chosen first after I saw what he ran at the combine. 4.3. I mean, that's insane.
That's a good point.
6 foot, long, lengthy, big corner. Those don't come around very often. So for him to, really, I don't know. I just feel like that would be the first guy off my list would be because he can play special teams. He can, again, like those big corners don't come around very often. You get one that can run a 4.3, sign me up.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I'm weary about him if I'm an NFL scout because he wasn't great in pass coverage this year, and if he wasn't so long, I would ask the question if he plays in the outside in the NFL because I think he's great.
I think he plays nickel.
You do see he's just so big. Maybe he does. I think that's where he probably fits better. And he did run a 4.3, so it's like I mean that size doesn't matter much, apparently. But I think that's where he's going to be more successful, right? I mean, that's where he's going to make the biggest impact.
Yeah, I agree. Or maybe he's. I mean, I don't know if you ever see him like. He could probably make a roster. I mean, will he start? I mean, I have no clue.
Right.
But like if it's your number 2 corner, I mean, I could see him play outside because like you're not getting, he's not facing DeAndre Hopkins.
Right.
He's facing, that their number 2 guy on the outside. So, 4.3 big corner like that, a guy that can help in run support. Again, sign me up.
Agreed.
I've seen him up to the 3rd round, 4th, 5th round. Is kind of where most of the projections have him at. So we'll kind of see if there's one guy. I think those are the four guys who hear their name called. If there's another guy who maybe sneaks into the draft somehow, got to be Theo Jackson.
Yeah, and that's an interesting. I'm interested to see if how long he's in the NFL. I'm so unsure about him, and I feel like he was. I think it's probably for him all about finding the right fit.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's a guy
that's with
that's
a lot of it, though.
No, I agree. It's a lot of them. I just feel like there's some like Juwan Jennings. He was going to make a team. Like guys like that, or really really talented guys, one or the other. Like they're going to play anywhere. I think Theo kind of because he probably does, like you said, may go under. He may be signed, right as the draft's over. But it's hard. It's hard to stay on a team. Like you've seen some really good guys kind of flutter out of the NFL right after. Is it a 30-day camp that they go to?
Yeah, mini camp.
The mini camp. They go to that mini camp and just for whatever reason, it's hard to. And some guys, they then after that they bounce around, but sometimes it's just really hard. And so I'm curious to see how he pans out. I'm unsure.
Yeah. Javonte Payton, I feel like could really make a roster. With that speed.
I think it's more. See, his speed. It's not as fast as Velus Jones Jr., but he gets behind the defense so easily. I don't know how he does it.
Well, he's faster than Velus Jones.
Is
Jr.
he? Is
like
he runs
straight on speed? Yes.
Oh, I thought Velus was faster. Okay.
But I mean, quickness, no.
Yeah. Well, and that's.
I mean, that's what all he scored on was freaking go routes.
It's amazing. I mean, it's. I don't know if it's a shoulder move he makes. You should ask someone who watches film for that reason. I don't know what it is. He just runs by guys.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so I think you could see him make a roster. I mean, maybe. I mean, he's probably a guy that bounces around, but yeah, you can't coach that speed. So I mean, you would love to have that on your practice squad. If somebody does go down, maybe he can fill in.
Right.
But a guy that I feel like really helped himself this season by transferring to Tennessee for sure.
Yeah, he definitely found the right. He benefited from the portal, found the right fit.
Trayvon Walker goes number 1.
There you go. Another guy you pointed out about Alontae Taylor, special teams guy. If you want to be on an NFL roster for sure this season, be really good in special teams.
Yeah.
That's where a rookie that isn't going to shine first year at whatever position they're playing, be a special teams guy. Look at Jalen Reeves-Maben. I'm sure he played some backer his first year in Detroit, but he was on every special teams unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now he's a mainstay.
That dude played safety in high school. I wouldn't run near him. He's not small. He was never small.
No.
Played safety.
Yeah, and he's a smaller linebacker, but again,
right. But he's a huge safety.
Yeah, he's a big safety for sure.
Especially in high school. I mean, no offense, Landon, but you played safety.
Yeah.
I played safety. That people just had to laugh looking at me. They just had to giggle. No,
I mean, I was like 140 pounds, so I wasn't very
Listen, my like 10 plays I played at safety. I had an interception, never got scored on. So I'm batting 1,000. I had one ball thrown my way, picked off. We need to do another sit down with BG so I don't know if I told him that story. I'm sure I've told it to him before, but he told me if the ball comes my way to bat it down. I was like, hell no. Yeah. If that ball comes my way, I'm catching that thing.
I'm patting those stats, boy.
Get out of here with that mess. Batting it down.
Yeah, who would do such
a thing? Anything else for the draft? First, 4 picks are going to be? Is it 4 or 5 that are going to be defensive players?
What a crappy quarterback class.
Right. I think 4 of the 5 are linemen. No, that's wrong. 3 of the 5 are defensive linemen. And then the other 2 are, I think 3 of the first 5 picks. No, 3 of the first 5 picks are corners projected. And the other 2 are, no, that's not right. Let me count again.
What are you even?
3 of the 5 are projected to be 2 edge rushers and a defensive lineman. The other two are corners, all defensive players. It's a CBS mock draft.
Okay. They don't know what they're talking about.
What do you have?
I don't even know. Like Trayvon Walker
Okay.
wasn't even thought about being the first round pick until like a week ago.
Well, that's who they had. That is Jacksonville. So
Well, I know, but
Guardians blue,
and then he just shot up the board like it was Aiden Hutchinson for months.
which is stupid.
Yeah,
Stupid.
yeah. The fact that I mean, he was a no show against Georgia. A
He's
no
not a
show.
he's not a top 5 pick.
No, he's not.
He's not.
So who are the corners? Oh, Stingley and Gardner. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man. All right. Well, anything else for the draft?
That's all.
Are you gonna announce them? Are you gonna announce them like they do in the draft?
No. Let's get to some recruiting, man.
The Detroit Lions are now on the clock.
Select who gives a shit.
I think it was Mark Nagy tweeted it today. It was funny. He's like, I knew draft day was a comedy when Roger Goodell came out and everyone cheered.
Yeah.
That's
Fake
pretty
news.
solid. I like that one.
But yeah, recruiting. Tennessee's hot on the recruiting trail, man.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it is.
love to see
It's I guess just the signing of Nico just really kind of steamrolled everything. But even guys like you haven't even heard of is putting Tennessee in their top 5 because
It's the juice. That's what it is. The juice.
Yeah, I mean we're just rolling, and you're in deep with a lot. Some of those top 50 players like Vic Burley, defensive lineman, Shandavian Bradley, Carnell Tate, and then Francis Mauigoa. I think I'm saying that right. A 5-star offensive tackle who's Tennessee's really trending for as of late. Also, some buzz with Tony Mitchell, 5-star corner from Alabaster, Alabama. Thompson High School has won a couple state titles already at that school, and if that name sounds familiar, he was committed to Tennessee at one time when Pruitt was here, and I think it was his 8th grade year. He was committed to Tennessee for a little bit, and obviously decommitted, which shocker.
He was in 8th grade,
right? Yeah, but I think a lot of that is peer recruiting. You have guys that are big on social media, like Nico, like Jack Luttrell, and you got some more juice with Caleb Herring, Nathan Robinson, Aiden Bustle, some of those in-state guys. So yeah, just things are trending in the right direction for Tennessee, and I think the main thing previously was just like, Tennessee just isn't really winning. I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna take a visit. Well, now, we all know Tennessee sells. Like they come here, they're like, oh man, I could really see myself here. You got the downtown, you got the river, just the beautiful campus that it is. You got that stadium. I know it's under construction right now, but you can picture 90 to 100,000 people screaming for your kid when you go on a visit with them. So it's just a lot. So you're getting those guys that are taking visits, and it just seems like Tennessee's got the mojo. Whatever it is, they just got it.
Well, and Tennessee's probably so take out like Georgia, Florida, Clemson, which they're not in the right direction right now. Ohio State, you can keep Michigan in this talk, but as far as like schools that are quote unquote coming back right now, so USC, Tennessee, I think I put Oklahoma in the Georgia, Alabama category, even though they have a new coach in Brett Venables. Michigan, Tennessee's in the top 5 of those schools that have a ton of like tradition, have a ton of power in name recognition, and are trending in the right direction. Like they're exciting. They're getting recruits. They had a great season the year before. So I think that like benefits Tennessee too. Getting Nico is huge, but I also think Josh Heupel having a good first year, strong first year, competitive first year, I think made it all that more interesting. And I mean, Texas had some disappointing losses, but the fact is they're still excited, and it's Texas for Steve Sarkisian. So they're one of those schools. I agree. I think it'll be. Hope he has a ton of talent this year. It looks like he does, but hope he does because that could fall off the wagon real soon.
Mhm.
But I think Tennessee's in that real good spot where it feels better than Jeremy Pruitt's second year. It definitely better than Butch Jones' second year because you still technically didn't have a quarterback then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's
And you definitely
it
didn't
feels
have a
good to be
quarterback that was getting Heisman talks.
no. Well, I mean Josh Dobbs should have been your number one starter, but there was a competition, and Justin Worley started that
Mhm.
season. So yeah, it's this feels good. It's weird, but it feels good. Tennessee's got the juice right now. NIL talks like the last couple years, the last 2 years have been last year, I guess, have benefited Tennessee a lot.
Yeah.
We've got Josh Heupel. If he pans out, he's going to have to give a ton of his success to NIL getting approved. I'm honestly sorry. Like you got to. We talked with about why coaches work out, right time, right place. It's a lot of factors beyond just being a good coach. If Josh Heupel works out, he's got to recognize the timing of when he came here. It changed the game for Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about it when he got here. This is a terrible time because we just got destroyed with the transfer
Uh,
portal, and then NIL is thrown on there as well. But
yeah, and we'll throw a little Butch Jones talk in. We'll call it year zero. Year zero is still tough, but year one is looking better.
we're building it brick by brick.
Building it brick by brick. What is it? 13 seconds. What do you say? That stupid play, like 13 point something
We don't
seconds.
have a lot of energy vampires.
No, it doesn't seem to be many energy vampires on campus there. And if you did, I think Mike Eckler brings enough energy to replenish. That
Yeah,
man that man's a terror. Like
he's a walking Red Bull.
I get why he moves around a lot. I don't think it's because he's a bad coach or recruiter. I don't know if that man can stay still. I
It's
feel like he
true.
probably has to move around. He's insane.
The good thing is Tennessee always has something going on. He's occupied right now
Yeah.
by Tony Vitello and the baseball team to maybe keep the peace a little bit.
I don't know if you saw NCAA rules committee is proposing getting rid of baseball scholarship or limits on baseball scholarships. I think what that means is there'll still be a limit like football, like 85. It'll be more than 11.7 though, which is good for Tony Vitello in Tennessee. They're also putting out a rule for conferences to set the coaching limit, not the not the league. So it'll be more than just 3 coaches, and I think that's good for Tony Vitello, bad for Josh Heupel because Eckler might make the jump to baseball. That man loves
He
this fall
does.
baseball team. He
He
loves
does.
fighting Tony Vitello's.
But I
So
mean,
no
that's
doubt
another part of like just the juice like you got in recruiting. I mean, it's everything on campus. It's softball, it's baseball, basketball. Yeah, I know they got kicked out in the round of 32, but they're still a top 25 team. Like people want to
they've
come
had a
watch
ton of
them.
great years. They've
Yeah.
got a foundation of success.
So I mean, kids that like aren't normally given Tennessee the time of day are finally like, all right, I'll go visit, see what the buzz is about when they get here. It's hard to say no. This place is beautiful.
Love
I
it.
love it. I'm biased, but I love it.
There's something in the orange.
I did text Kiv when that was dropped that they're voting on it. And I said I'll pick you when this passes. I'll pick you up at the airport in Knoxville.
We're kidnapping him if it passes.
Yeah,
I don't. Tony may be glad he's gone. No, dude, I bet Tony was like after the chest bump. I bet he's like, I'm glad that wasn't me. That was me and not Kiv, or we probably would have been hauling dude off in a stretcher.
you would Nolan
He would have
Ryan
been.
his ass.
Oh, for sure. He wouldn't have been allowed to coach baseball anymore. So he's probably a little happy about that one.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll get him back. And no, that's that'll be cool if that happens. That's good for Tennessee. And it's talking about how exciting it is for people to come here. Like all the coaches are kind of in on the action. You saw the football team there Tuesday night. They've been bringing recruits to the stadium, to baseball stadium. Like everyone's in it. It's real cool. And sucks to see you talk about success. Vol soccer coach Brian Pensky went to Florida State. I get it. Florida State's a perennial power in women's college soccer. It's hard to turn down that job, I'd imagine. But Tennessee's trend. I think Tennessee will be fine. Really talented team. I'm interested to see who they replace Ron Penske with.
Yep.
But ton of talent over there, and that's another guy that was hanging around. Saw him on Sunday. Another guy that's been hanging around, and so it's cool to see all the sports in on it. And then we talked about the softball fur coat. Like, that's awesome. I think we see a turnover fur coat this year in football. You want to take bets?
I did see who had it. It was someone. I feel like it was maybe South Carolina had like the coonskin hat, and I'm just like, what? Like, what kind of
At their
knockoff?
spring game?
No. I'm talking about their baseball team celebrating.
Oh, their baseball. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god, they aren't hitting home runs. Why do they have something to celebrate them? You got to hit them first, big boys.
They might have, the outfielder might have broken his leg, so they got it inside the park home run. I don't know what happened.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's terrible. Speaking of baseball, before we're about to talk Auburn, did you see where D1, our projected regional, was?
Yeah.
I hate
It's hard
NC
to
State.
look at projections right now.
I know. I just like talking about them. Nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. I mean,
as far as
walk
postseason
Tommy
goes.
Smokes every single time because
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's
I know we joke about us having a small ballpark, but I don't want
But-
him to find out that we do.
and NC State got hot last year and got cheated. That's a team that's going to be in postseason play. Talk about going for throats. Like, they
Yeah.
are going to be going for throats thanks to the NCAA. I don't know if I want to play them. I'll tell you, I mean, I say that like I don't care who we play. Step on the field and we'll play anybody. But obviously you look at that stuff and as fans,
It's going to be hard to knock off Tennessee anyway, but
right?
inside
If
of
it was a
Lindsey
team,
Nelson,
but if it was a team to do it, a team that's real pissed off about last year because they didn't get cheated by a call, they didn't get screwed over by sucky play. They got kicked out of the tournament by the NCAA. They got sent home.
we'll beat them like we did a couple years ago in the Chick-fil-A kickoff. So
Yeah, by Derek Dooley. How'd that feel?
yeah.
The year he got fired.
Yikes.
Butch Jones also we can never play in that game again. Butch Jones also got fired that same year he won the Chick-fil-A kickoff. Kiss of death.
Who did we
putting on that
play
stupid
again?
helmet? Georgia Tech.
Oh, Georgia Tech.
Went to overtime with Georgia Tech.
God, that was terrible.
Shout out Darrell Taylor.
Maybe we should just not do those kickoffs.
Darrell Taylor. Agreed.
Jeremy Pruitt.
That wasn't the year he got fired, thankfully.
I know, but it was his first year, and it started off terrible.
Yeah, awful.
It started off with a
dude. I was looking at tweets from that. We were so confident going into that game.
Oh yeah.
God, I mean, how dumb am I? I'm an idiot.
Dude, who are my Panthers picking? That's who I need to
Shut my Panthers. Get out of here. Sam Darnold still your starter?
Shut up, okay?
Sam Darnold was drafted number 1 overall, going back into terrible draft picks.
We got a tackle. We got speaking of NC State, we got the NC State tackle.
Blocking for Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Is that covering his blind side?
Icky. Yeah.
I hate that for you.
Man, that's
Sam Darnold.
I'm just glad we didn't just go get a quarterback just to be like, oh, we got a quarterback, but we're still going to keep Sam Darnold and Cam Newton on our roster.
Is Cam Newton still with the Panthers?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I didn't even know what that situation.
And the guy from the XFL is still on there too. We're just bad. We're so bad.
You could get somebody from what's the new league? That's some terrible football. By the way.
No, I'm good.
Terrible.
We'll probably end up getting Baker Mayfield or something stupid like that too.
So. Whoa. Take that back.
No, dude, he's so bad.
He's better than Sam Darnold.
Well, so am I.
Also better than Cam Newton now. As it stands today.
I agree, but it's not just. It's not going to make our team any better. We're not going to win hardly any more games.
Well, that's also because you're in one of the hardest divisions right now.
In what?
The NFC South. You don't think that's one of the tougher full divisions right now?
It was. I mean,
I guess you don't know the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints.
I guess you don't know.
The Falcons aren't great.
The Falcons will win regular season games.
When the Buccaneers were bad, that was when the NFC South was the best.
Besides, you still have the Saints, but yes, agreed. It was
Yeah, you had Carolina was good, the Saints were good, the Falcons were good.
yeah.
The Bucks are terrible, and now the Bucks are really
Well,
good, and everybody else is suffering.
not last year, year before,
The Saints were good.
and the Falcons won regular season games,
Yeah, they're yeah. It's a
which
weird thing.
screws you in playoff contention. That's what I mean. Like it.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
why I say
it
it's a
should
tough
be.
division. That's why. That's the only reason I say that is because like you don't have just a completely awful team in
Yeah,
there to balance you out. The AFC South they have two awful teams to balance you out.
yeah.
That
Like
would be the
God
best of both worlds.
bless, they're terrible.
The
That's the
AFC
worst
East,
division in football. No offense to Titans
first.
fans, it's the worst division.
Well, it's not the Titans fans' fault the last 5 years. Titans' fault the last 5 years.
Them or
They,
the AFC North is the worst, or AFC East. Sorry.
yeah. Well, no, AFC East can never be declared the worst because they get the Patriots. Like they
Yeah, the Patriots and Bills are good.
Bills now. Well, Bills had an
Yeah,
early 2000 run too.
yeah.
Into
They
what?
used to
Probably like
be
2008.
crap. Yeah, something like that.
Miami's trending up. It's the Jets holding them down. See, you always have a terrible team in the Jets.
Dolphins are not going to be good.
But the Dolphins are the Dolphins are due to beat the Patriots one game this season. That you can mark that. Give me the Dolphins to beat the Patriots over half the
Yeah, when
game
they
every
play them
time.
the
I'll
last
take it
game of the season, so no one
every time.
plays.
Every time I'll take it. No, they get a. I remember Gronk in that terrible tackle attempt in prevent. That wasn't the last. Gronk would have been playing that game. They win one no matter what. They always get theirs. It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't disagree. The Dolphins are awful. They're not awful at the same rate the Jets are.
Yeah,
or the Jaguars.
Yeah. Who's even on the Jets? Can you name one player on the Jets?
Not anymore. Sam Darnold left.
Oh my God, they're so bad.
I hope Henry Toto goes to the Jets. I hope he gets franchise tagged at the Jets. And he'll like that because he'll get paid good, but
oh yeah.
Love it. Let's talk this weekend. Let's talk a little baseball.
Yeah, let's get to that. Auburn comes to town. I think they've won 7 straight games. They're on a 5-game winning streak over Tennessee, dating back to 2019 when they beat us in Hoover.
Yeah, I don't like you bringing up those streaks, man.
Hey,
I know you're trying to reverse jinx it. I'm just not a fan.
We're streak breakers.
That Auburn game hurt too.
We beat Auburn in basketball. We broke that streak.
It's true. People forget Bruce Pearl lost to Donnie Tyndall. People forget that.
But I mean, there were still a lot of people on that team that played. I mean, Richard Jackson pitched in that game. He's now coaching. Redmond Walsh pitched. Christian Scott.
Of course he did. He pitched for the 1951 team.
Christian Scott played in that game. Evan Russell played in that game. I mean, there was a lot of Tennessee players that are still on it. So, hey, whatever you got to do to get some bulletin board material, there it is.
I like that. We talked about it. We talked about it being bulletin board material.
Yeah.
The rest of the season. I like that. I'll flip my mind. I like that.
Put that monkey on your back. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
But Auburn is a really good baseball team. You know, Sonny DiChiara is one of probably the best hitter in the country right now. And have you seen him? Have you seen a picture of him?
No, I mean I've seen videos of. I haven't seen close. I assume he has some attribute about his like face or something. Because
he's just a like overly large baseball player.
Oh yeah, he looks like a home run tank. Like you're like, I know why that guy's on the team.
Right.
He's hitting the long ball every chance he gets.
But leads the SEC in batting average, slugging percentage, on base percentage. So it's going to be tough to get him out and teams had difficulty get him out. I think he's reached base in every game so far this season. So, hey, but he isn't facing pitchers like Tennessee does though. Sonny.
I think that's Miracle. He says they're going to out. He says 9 times out of 10 They can outskate us. They can outshoot us. They can outscore us, but not tonight. That's not tonight. Hey, you might have the best batting average in the SEC. Second in home runs, right?
Yep.
But not tonight.
Wait, he's second in home runs?
He's second in home runs, right? Or is he first? I thought
No, so
Trey Lipscomb.
So Elko and Judd Fabian, I think, are
Elko.
ahead of
I
him.
forgot about Elko.
Yeah, I think there's 3 or 4 that's ahead of
Okay.
him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really good player, and I'm interested to see the Sunday matchup. Looks like the best matchup, which is insane. You got Joseph Gonzalez, who is 6-0, I think 1.7 ERA. You got Drew Beam, who's 8-0, 1.8 ERA. So that's going to be a tough matchup for statistically two of the best pitchers in the SEC go head to head, and maybe, hopefully not. Hopefully it's taken care of before we get to Sunday, but you could be looking at a real interesting rubber match there.
Oh, for sure. So I'm double checking. I hadn't seen it. I just want to make sure. Who was the have we announced our Friday starter yet? I didn't think so, but I want to double check.
It's Chase Burns.
They did announce it. Okay, I was
Blade
about to ask
Tidwell
you
is
think
pitching
they mix it up
Saturday.
Saturday. So I figured it'd be Tidwell with Vitello's comments yesterday or today. We bring in Dolander back.
Mm-hmm.
But I was interested to see if they mixed up. Because when you have Tidwell pitching real well, it's going to be hard for him not to be your Friday night guy. It's got to be hard to hold him back right now. I know Burns has pitched he's pitched well, only had a few bumps in the road this season, but that's Blade Tidwell. That dude, he nasty.
Yeah, no, I just think he got comfortable against Florida. I know he was leaving some stuff up in the zone, but um, he's when he's gone in relief, he's kind of got hit a little bit. But I feel like starting and just getting that feel back in an SEC game, I think he just seemed like more his element.
Right, and you truly say, I mean, there's ways to obviously kind of control the environment and set the tone as a reliever, but as a starter, you really do get to set the tone for the game.
Mm-hmm.
You're controlling everything. So
I'm interested to see who plays left and who DHs. I think Christian Moore has to be your DH going forward if it's not Jared Dickey. And it looks like Jared Dickey's probably out right now. But dude, Christian Moore is a great athlete. I'm leading him off. True freshman. It doesn't matter. It doesn't seem to bother him.
I like that with Jarrell in the 2-hole. I like that.
Yeah. I'm just besides when Jared Dickey's not in the lineup, Tennessee has struggled with that leadoff guy. It's usually been Seth Stevenson or Christian Scott, and it just hasn't. It hasn't given you enough at the leadoff spot what you need.
Yeah, and I think Christian Moore too brings. I mean, the reason Seth Stevenson's in there, and the reason Jarrell Ortega's benefited a lot being that 2-hole hitter. If you get Seth Stevenson on base, Jarrell Ortega's probably going to score him. I mean,
yeah,
he's hitting balls over the infield a lot. He's very good. But Christian Moore got too. Seth Stevenson's very, very fast. So I don't know where they compare, but Christian Moore's not slow.
Yeah. I mean, you saw the inside the park home run against was it Baylor? I think it was Baylor.
Yeah. So
I mean, dude can run.
He can run. He can hit. I'd like to see him. One, I agree. Lead it off. I like that.
Yep. Or have Drew Gilbert lead you off. You got. You can move everybody behind him up a little bit.
I don't disagree. I don't know if it's like nostalgia. I like especially with Jarrell the way he's playing. I like going Jarrell, Beck, Gilbert.
Yeah,
dangerous.
And Trey.
I feel like it makes, and then Lipsius after that. I feel like it may you can't pitch around those 4 guys, 5 guys now that Jarrell's like. I don't know. It's be very tough for a team to pitch to them. Tie ball game, down 1, up 1, whatever it may be. That's a tough spot in the lineup if you get them in the 8th and 9th inning.
No, I agree.
You got to pitch it pretty much. You got to pitch it at least 3 or 4 of them. I mean, maybe it's awesome. I love it.
Good luck.
Love every minute of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but should be a fun weekend. And then after this, then you start getting the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let's enjoy this one. Should be. You said it could rain on Friday. Is that
I
right?
think Friday. I think it's supposed to. If it does, I think it's in the morning. Let me see what it's saying now. But I think I
I
think it's
have
like
it. I have
20%.
it's going to rain on Sunday.
Okay. So it was a very, very small shower coming through
Okay.
yesterday when they were calling for rain on Friday. Yeah, I've got 60% chance on Sunday. How do they do that? They just call that game and send everybody home, or do they move that to Monday?
They
I
they
mean, it's an
might try to do a
oh
doubleheader on
doubleheader.
Saturday,
That's true. Yeah.
but their first one's at night, so they'd have to do it before. So that's going to be interesting to because that Saturday game is on the SEC network.
So I guess that'd be game 3 then on SEC Network. You'd play your
Yeah,
first one at noon.
I guess. I don't know how they
Dude.
do that. Or they'll look at the radar and see where if it's is it supposed to be later, is it supposed to be earlier, and then kind
Yeah.
of make a
You don't want to
decision
can
on that.
I mean, maybe they send them home, but it's an SEC game.
Yeah,
That could be very, very important.
I doubt it. Highly doubt it. That's why they got turf.
Cool.
Hey, we can play in the rain.
Yep. I've also noticed, I think I've had the wrong graphic on this entire time. Oh
I
well.
haven't
It's not
noticed.
Sunday. It's not Sunday. I'm sure you guys know that by now,
It's all
but
good. It's all good.
got it in here somewhere.
That's kind of all I got for baseball. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Excited for another weekend of good weather. That place should be packed.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I
And
envy you
dude, I
guys.
just I just don't like Auburn. I don't know what it is. I just don't like them.
Oh, they're the worst. The worst. I didn't spell Thursday right. I mean, this is just didn't start the intro. I'm on one tonight,
Trillish.
boys. Churlish. I can't look at that. That bothers me. That bother you as much as it bothers me? How do you miss a
I'm not,
Y in day? Thursday. That's in every single one. Monday through
yeah,
Sunday.
you
It's just in
misspelled
there.
it all 7.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Uh,
bad. Let's just go there. There we go. Oh man. All right. Well, yeah, that's all I've got. You got a stupidity. Also, dude, I forgot to mention in fail.
we didn't talk
I've
about the
been.
transfer portal.
Oh, that's right. We never came to that. Before we do that, I need to mention my fail from Sunday. I forgot the Yankees fans. They're the worst, man. The
Yeah,
worst.
I can't believe
Childish. Just
I can't believe they would do something like that.
they're the worst.
I mean, they couldn't throw a
Honestly,
mustard bottle.
so I've never thrown trash before. I like, especially like dad in a stadium. What does that do? Like, are you trying? My question is, are you trying to harm them? Are you trying to inconvenience them? What is your goal?
Get in their way. I don't know. I
I don't
definitely am
understand.
not gonna waste any kind of beer throwing it at
That's
somebody.
I don't understand. Like, you see like a full hot dog come down. I'm like, I know you paid $7 for that.
Well, that's like I don't get the beer showers.
I do get the beer showers. I get that.
Well, so are they allowed to just bring in coolers out there?
See, I don't know that, but
If you're buying a $12 beer and you're throwing it up in the air, that's a lot.
I wouldn't say every home run, but like Drew Gilbert's home run, I'll
Oh
throw a
yeah,
$48 beer in the air.
yeah.
That's my
But
point. That's my point.
that's a once in a lifetime though.
Okay, I mean even beyond that, like even a walk, I would have wasted $120 in Lindsey Nelson last year because what did we decide? We had 9 walk-offs. That's a beer shower moment in my opinion.
But like apparently they do it for
I
all
agree.
of them.
I agree.
So if
I
you're
agree with
bringing
that
your
take.
own, you're bringing some like a case of Bud Light. You're
You're still
waiting on a
wasting
beer shower.
you're still wasting a lot of beer, man. That's still a
Yeah,
lot of beer.
yeah.
But for the big ones, I get. I understand it 100%. You know what? I also want to talk about before we go to transfer portal. Luke Lipsius reached base every single time. Is that right? I'm trying to think later in the game. Reached base every single time and did not put a ball to the bat. Bat to the ball.
Yeah, that's right.
That's incredible.
I think in like 2 at bats, he got 8 straight balls.
That's awesome. That is amazing.
Scary, man. Transfer portal just real quick. Julian Nixon, ball side in going to the transfer portal. I just think he was kind of buried in the depth chart. I mean, he wasn't gonna. You had 3 guys in front of him already this season.
Right.
And he was kind of a tweener. He was like an athlete, wide receiver in high school that was kind of too slow and too big to play wide receiver. So whatever. I mean, I don't think it hurts really anything. Justin Powell leaves the basketball program, or is I guess hasn't officially gotten to the transfer portal. But the guy averaged 11 points at Auburn. He averaged 3 here. I mean, that
Right.
was that was going to happen, but he's going to have to move down if he does.
Right. Which maybe he thinks that's what's best. So
Yeah, I mean, good
whatever.
luck.
If hey,
I just don't
look at
understand how you have that good of a freshman year at Auburn and
right.
come here and it just wasn't a fit. I mean, he's a good shooter, but if you can't get open, how good of a shooter are you?
I thought it was a weird pickup, anyways. I was excited because he was a good shooter, but all in all, I thought doesn't seem to fit Rick Barnes' style. I guess.
Totally agree. I have one stupidity, and it's kind of a fail too. Um, Kansas Wesleyan put
Oh,
paint
you
thinner,
mother. Mm.
paint thinner in the Gatorade jug of their opponent. That
I
Bethany College was. I mean,
I'm
really?
not willing to say it's fake. I think they actually maybe made an arrest or
Oh,
identified.
so Bethany College put in Kansas Wesleyans. That's right.
But why is the cooler like? Did they drink it? Why is it? And it looks like there's paint in there. So did they put paint and paint thinner? That's not what paint thinner. That's not what paint thinner. Any paint thinner that I've worked with looks like.
I don't
Do
know.
you have
Unless,
the? Are you looking at the screenshot of it?
yeah.
Do you see like around the rim? It looks like paint on it. Does it not?
Yeah, I wonder if it is just straight paint.
And but why is the cooler almost empty? Did they drink it and then go on to score 33 runs?
I guess. Yeah, they got beat by 31 runs. I
God.
mean, that's it's being investigated and like somebody's going to jail.
I think I want to say I saw that there was either like an arrest or they identified or something along those lines. See if I can figure it out. But yeah, it's first off, high school football coaches, I know what you're thinking. Do not do that hoping to motivate your team to a win just in case a kid accidentally drinks it. Like, unless
Right.
you have someone standing guard there the entire time before you present it to the team, do not do that. Actually, no, scratch that. Do not do that. Do not. I cannot express that enough. Because, dude, does this not feel like a high school football coach move to like motivate your players?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know. Just a weird, like, that just seems like almost attempted murder. I mean, I don't even know
Yeah.
if you can die from that, but like, it sounds like something like you do to like intentionally harm somebody, and that's just not okay. Like a
Yeah.
laxative, like that's kind of funny, but
That's still
paint,
messed up, though. That's still
it
messed
is,
up.
it is, and you probably
I
should go to
agree.
jail for that. But like paint,
Right. Paint's no, the paint and or paint thinner and
or
or
they
both.
they put like hot dog water in there or something. Like that's funny.
That would have been funny. Hot dog water would have been fun. I know they've got them boiling back there in the concession stand.
Yeah, for sure.
They said it was juveniles. They said neither school is involved.
I don't know if I believe that.
That would be a weird thing to do, though. No, like
Yeah, I
who even
mean,
comes up with that idea?
yeah, like I'm not doing that. I mean, I did some messed up stuff in high school, but I'm not doing that.
It was not paint thinner. It was line paint used on the field and to touch up bases.
Oh, okay. Still.
No, it's messed up. I
So they
agree.
just went in there and sprayed it?
Dude, I don't. They probably dumped the water paint. Like you have paint left over, they probably dumped it out.
God. What is wrong with people?
Yeah, that's dumb. That was my stupidity. So yeah, I don't have one. Other than Yankees fans, they're pretty stupid.
Why
I've got
is
another one.
Joel
I'll have to
Embiid
send it to
still in
you.
the game? They're up 30 points. Why is he still in? So
I sent you my other stupidity.
You did?
Just now. Oh man. All right. Well. That's it. That's all for me. It's been fun, guys. Thanks for listening to us ramble on and rant like old men.
Yep. Guys, love it.
Did you get the photo?
Yeah, good God.
I just sent you a follow-up text just to see why I did it.
No clue. I love it. I didn't even notice that until you said that. That's awesome. Guys, we appreciate it. Go
Always.
Vols this weekend. Still hot on the recruiting trail. And hey, Sonny D don't know what's coming. Chase Burns going to shove it up that
Not
ass.
tonight.
Let's get it. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.